Ubisoft is an interesting company because it gets a lot of hate, but if you look at some of the most critically acclaimed games ever made, like Breath of the Wild, you can clearly see the inspiration taken from older Ubisoft games. In fact, the Ubisoft formula is one that appears in more non-Ubisoft games than actual Ubisoft games, which is kind of funny to think about. Prince of Persia: Sands in Time in particular is one of the most important 3D action platformers ever and one of Ubisoft's greatest games ever, basically creating the Uncharted Assassin's Creed style. Some of these older Ubisoft titles are legitimately insanely good, and more than that, were incredibly impactful in shaping modern game design. So what the hell has happened? Well, Ubisoft is good at taking a good game and running the same playbook for a damn decade. Every iteration getting more and more copy-pasted, risk-averse, and bloated, paired with the fact that they are consistently one of the worst companies when it comes to all the sneaky, annoying BS that game companies do. No, Ubisoft, I'm not making a goddamn account to play my single-player PlayStation game. I will literally turn off the internet in the settings. You don't know me. Given all of these things, it's not a huge surprise that Ubisoft is kind of a joke amongst gamers.
So when you tell me that one of the most important Ubisoft franchises ever is getting a new installment for the first time in pretty much a decade, I can't help but be a little bit worried.
But then you tell me that Ubisoft is bringing back that game as a 2D Metroidvania in 2024? Why? Well, TLDR, after playing this game through, I can confidently say that if you really like games where the map looks like this, just close the fucking review right now, pick this game up and play it, because it's one of the best Metroidvanias in a long time, and in my opinion, is Ubisoft's best game in a decade, which not only makes me feel old to say, but gives me hope that these AAA studios can still produce banger single-player experiences like Ubisoft Montpellier has done with this Prince of Persia. In Metroidvanias, you spend 100% of your time either fighting or exploring, which is basically just moving. So if either one of these things is bad, the combat or the movement, the game will be ass. It would be kind of like making an ARPG, which is 100% combat, have boring combat. Who would ever play that? Thankfully, this combat is some slick and stylish shit. Each attack has a satisfying weight behind it. And when you land the perfect bop, bop, bop on a guy, it's pretty damn fun. That style is so important since Prince of Persia has always been stylish. I mean, it was basically the Matrix in Persia. The combat in this game is one of the best things on offer. You got a bunch of classics. You can swing your sword, you can do a combo, you can jump, you can slide, you can swing in the air, but where the Prince of Persia goes way crazier than other Metroidvanias is the amount of different combo options you have. You can slice up into an air combo, you can slide into the kick up, into the jump, into an arrow, into an air combo. Pulling off some sick combo just feels good. Honestly, something that you don't get in a lot of Metroidvanias. Actions are cancelable into others, so you can spam a bunch of shit and look like an actual crackhead while playing. Let me acknowledge all these Reddit posts comparing these two games. This game clearly draws inspiration from Hollow Knight and a ton of other Metroidvania games. In fact, one of the things I love here is the willingness to pay direct homage to its predecessors. You have obvious Hollow Knight influence, Celeste-style platforming and movement options, tons of stuff inspired from Super Metroid, Metroid 2, Metroid Dread. I say fuck it. Take the best ideas from other games and put them together. They're fun for a reason. And speaking of movement, Prince of Persia is a game that revolutionized video game movement. Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, literally any game with this climbing style. That's thanks to Prince of Persia. But the movement here is equally, if not more satisfying, translated into 2D. The sprinting, the double jump, the wall jumps, the dash, the air dash, teleports, arrows, uppercut. There's so much here that allows you to move very fast and precisely. It feels incredible incredible to blaze through rooms that you once struggled with, making the inevitable backtracking you have to do still pretty fun. The bosses are also a lot of fun. They feel fair and have some cool moves. I don't really want to show them because it might spoil part of the game, but just trust me, okay? They're fun and they're tough. One of the only arguments I've heard against this game is that $50 is too expensive when games like Hollow Knight are $15. First of all, Hollow Knight is legitimately one of the greatest games ever made. I'll pay $30, bro, for real. And considering the sea of garbage, licensed, rush, shitty, glitchy AAA games getting $60 or $70 releases, it makes me incredibly happy to see a $50 polished 20-ish hour single player experience. Is a 20-hour game worth $50? Well, that's a calculation you'll have to make on your own. But for me, I'm paying $50 for a truly great single player game every time. And besides, the game has voice acting unlike most Metroidvanias, so I don't mind those guys getting the check. All in all, I really cannot recommend this game enough, and any 2D platformer or Metroidvania fan should pick this up. This game is ultimately a great reminder that not every video game needs to break new ground and innovate and be this crazy, massive, grand experience, and that flawlessly executing on well-proven game design will result in a nearly flawless game. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown feels like it's from a bygone era to me, when studios focused on making solid, digestible, single-player experiences. Back then, not every game needed to be this bloated, massive 60-hour behemoth. Not every game needed hundreds of millions in funding to stay afloat. Not every game needed to be some infinitely repeating, daily login, engagement, optimized battle pass microtransaction grind. But what the hell do I know? This game is fun, and I will say it with confidence that this is the best Ubisoft game in the last 10 years, and it's not even close. Fantastic game, completely annihilated all of my expectations, and definitely worth your time. 4.5 out of 5.